It's time for another collection video, and this time we'll be focusing on my Senran Kagura collection. It's definitely not as large as my Neptunia collection, but then again, there aren't as many games in this series, are there? I'm quite proud of what I have, and I believe it's fairly complete as of this video, at least in North American terms. Europe and obviously Japan did get more, and in my opinion better, physical releases, so my collection isn't as impressive as it could be. Hopefully you'll find the video interesting regardless. Let's get started, and we'll go in chronological order. The first game, Senran Kagura Burst, wasn't physically released here, so we'll have to start with the second entry to the series, Shinobi Versus. And yes, I do know that Burst is technically 2 games or a remake or whatever. I was really excited about Shinobi Versus. It was actually already out in Japan when the 3DS game came out here in North America, and it looked like so much more fun with the full 3D gameplay. I bought the first game on the 3DS eShop to support the series, and thankfully they decided it was worth to bring Shinobi Versus to the West. I always show footage of this game in every video when I talk about the Vita, and I get the same comments all the time. What's that game with the anime girl called? This is the Let's Get Physical Edition version, I guess, but that's like the only physical copy you could buy anyways. As you can see, I've got 2 copies, one being sealed. Honestly, I can't remember why I bought 2. This thing is quite expensive now, by the way, like almost all Vita games with small production runs. The cover is reversible, and what you're seeing here is the flip side. This is what it looks like normally. The soundtrack shows the 4 lead characters, if that makes sense, and as you go through the packaging, you'll notice a decrease in the amount of clothing they have on. The soundtrack is great, lots of metal music to get you all hyped up. The only thing I don't like is the printing on the disc itself. It's a bit wonky. It's printed a bit too thick and dark, and I don't think that really shows in the video, but that's what I see in real life. The art book is really decent. It's soft cover, which I think is good if you want to flip through it. It's very high quality. The front image kinda bugs me. I don't really like the whole no eyes thing. This isn't some generic NPC here. The book is well laid out with lots of bright colors. The character profiles are great with a description as well as stats. At the back, there's also a section that shows what you have to do to unlock certain outfits or accessories, which I thought was a pretty handy thing. The only thing I don't like is in the character profiles, where their height has been changed to feet and inches. I just really dislike when they convert the units. I can't stand it. It should be whatever the source material is. They use metric in Japan, so it should stay metric. At the end of the book, there's a special uplifting message by the series producer. Deep Crimson is up next, and this is the Double D edition. How did they get away with that? I guess it has 2 CDs. Yeah, CDs, that's what those are. I never ended up playing this game. I think I was a bit turned off by the fact that this was another 3DS game, and I didn't quite like the first game of the series, especially with its bad performance. Maybe I should just go ahead and actually play the game. I think this is the second most recent 3DS game I bought. Pokemon Sun and Moon were the most recent. Man, I could do an entire video about how disappointed I was with Gen 7, but let's not talk about that now. The Europeans got a much better limited edition than us. Actually, I think there was more than one to choose from. The only thing I didn't like was the eyeless face thing again. I think that's too much of an artistic liberty. It kind of works when the image is cut off, or if it's really stylized like it is here. I like the color scheme. Somehow they managed to use red and green without it looking like a Christmas thing. The game case features a reversible cover again, which you can see here. Oh no, it escaped! No worries, it's just a little shy. It actually has a manual, and it's in color. I do think they could have at least made the buttons stand out a bit more though. I think something like this should be more defined. The soundtrack looks pretty cool, I think. The brush strokes look really interesting, which hints towards classic Japanese calligraphy and art. Actually, the series has a lot of touches like that throughout, which I can really appreciate. The discs have some cool artwork on them, and now let's take them out. Nice. Now we have Estival Versus Endless Summer Edition. I have the PS4 version. There's a Vita variant as well. That one's predictably more expensive. This time we have all 4 main characters on the cover. I don't think the art on the CD looks that nice, even if Yomi had eyes. It just looks a bit too desaturated and light. The manual is in color. This time the buttons are more dark, but it still looks a bit like a wall of text. Another reversible sleeve. This one has a different front with Asuka and Yomi, and the back shows all the main characters having a fun time. Here's the soundtrack. The art on the disc is kind of funny. I like Yagyu's panicked expression. Also, more Ikaruga is always something I can get behind as well. I actually used the illustration of the second disc for the review of this game. Was it a bit too much? I don't think so. A lot of people are scared to use thumbnails like that, but I figured it was suitable. The art book is horizontal and I think it works very well. They converted the units again, so there's that. The thing is laid out well, the printing and quality of the paper is excellent, and I don't think there's much else to complain about. Lastly, we have the cards with some sort of holographic effect. Which faction you end up getting is random. I actually complained about getting the Heavy Joe girls in my original unboxing video, but I've had a change of mind since then. Murasaki is one of my favorite characters now, and anything that comes out of Ryobi's or Riona's mouth is hilarious. By the way, I'm not sure if you've noticed or not, but Murasaki is in the intro as well as some of the outros, and Riona and Ryobi also show up in the subscription graphic too. The cards are cool with good illustrations. I actually really like them. There's some character info on the back again, but as you can see, the units have been converted. Come on, Xseed, stop doing that. Speaking of Xseed, again, they didn't do as good of a job as Marvelous did in Europe, though I guess technically they're the same company. Anyways, again, they have multiple versions to choose from, and they're much less conservative with what's included. What's the point in being prudish with a game like this? I say it's time to get the body pillows and Opie mousepads over to our shorts too. And now we have Peach Beach Splash, no shorts, no shoes, all service edition. Let's have a look at what Europe got. It's actually rather similar, except they have a different box and a mousepad option. I still say the Japanese butt pad is superior. Normally the PlayStation games have this shiny box, but this time they have a matte finish, and it's also made out of cardboard. And it opens from the top. The reversible cover art is to be expected at this point. I like what they did with the back cover, showing off a few screenshots. It's like a what if sort of thing. What if all the legal copy wasn't required? It would look much better is the simple answer. The alternate front cover shows Yomi and Asuka. I already redeemed the DLC code, so don't bother trying to redeem it. Speaking of DLC, I wanted to do a DLC guide for the PC version, like I did with Estival Versus. The DLC cost was outrageous though, so that never happened. The manual is the best of the series, I think. It has a nice themed design, and it doesn't feel like you're looking through walls of text. The art book is great as usual. I think these are better than what the Neptunia series puts out. There's more stuff in them, and the quality is better. Again, they're at it with the unit conversion, and this time they don't even bother saying if it's inches or whatever. The rest of the book is great, and it's up to the standards of the other ones. Here's the soundtrack. Both the soundtrack and art book covers have a really interesting stylized cover design. Oh yay, no eyes. That's what we need. And the lower thumb holes do nothing. There's a plastic lip that keeps you from lifting the disc up. What's the point of even including them then? The top ones work fine. And look, the artwork is offset incorrectly, so that doesn't look quite right. And now we have the official art book, Senran Kagura Official Design Works, Trail of Girls. What's that? Like a Trail of Destruction, except with girls? It covers the first game all the way up to Deep Crimson, so no Estival Versus or PBS art in here. But there's New Wave and Bon Appetit stuff in here, so that's pretty cool. The book has the classic Japanese style going on again, which I think looks excellent. As you can imagine, it's filled to the brim with ecchi art, more so than any other art book I own. Actually, that's not true now that I think about it, but that's not video game related. There's a lot of art in here, and there's even a bunch of commentary in terms of what the creative process is like, which is something I always like. It's definitely a great thing for any enthusiast of the series. And that is my Senran Kagura collection. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Hit the like button if you did. Subscribe for more videos and check out Patreon if supporting the channel sounds like a good idea to you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video.